What's going on, everybody? I'm Tank, and this is another episode of Roadie Reactions.
Get with this.
In today's reaction video, I'm going to be checking out a band that, on a technicality, we could say this is a first-time reaction. And I say that because I've been playing a lot of Minecraft recently, and some friends on the Discord server sent me their cover version of Diggy Diggy Hole. And I didn't know this was a real band. I thought it was a bunch of guys that just dressed up like dwarves and did a cover of that song. But then I find out they're a real band, and they've been around for quite a while. So the technicality is, this is my first time hearing any of their original music. And I don't know much about the band. The only things that I know are things that I saw in the comments from you guys. They're Italian, they dress up like dwarves, and they make music that's based around Lord of the Rings. Right up my alley. Really excited about this, because if it sounds anything like their cover of Diggy Diggy Hole, it's gonna rock. So I will link this video in the description below. And today, I am gonna be listening to Windrose with the music video for their song, We Were Warriors. Let's go. At what point does this just become a Napalm Records reaction channel? So much lately. Not that that's a bad thing. There it is. All right, man, it started off slow. Like, that's like harder stuff to headbang to for me. But when that picked up, man, I loved it. Musically, this is great. We haven't heard a ton of vocals yet. Gear-wise, I'm a little stumped right now. Like, the models that they're playing look familiar, but the headstocks on the logos aren't popping out. These could be copies of stuff. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to need to watch a little bit longer, but so far this looks awesome. Like, the video looks like it's going to be a cool story. Their costumes are phenomenal. Let's continue. So, going back to what I was saying about the costumes, I'm curious if these guys all make this by hand, Or I'm wondering if there are like pretty big companies that make LARP, like live action role playing gear. I wonder if they have an endorsement from like a LARPing gear company or something. I'm not sure. I'd probably guess they make this by hand, but also going along with the costumes, man, wearing all this stuff and performing has got to be a challenge. Like, especially for their drummer that's constantly moving his arms up and down and moving around. Like, this has got to be like tailored pretty light for them to move around, but it doesn't look light. It looks like pretty hefty gear. So super cool. I don't know a ton about keyboards, but I did notice that their keyboardist is playing a Nord Electro 6. I've never gotten my hands on the 6. Most of the models that we work on the road are the Nord Electro 5s or 5Ds. But Nord is a great product. Solid keyboards. I've actually had a Nord on the road, like literally withstand a rainstorm on top of it, and it still worked. So let's keep going. We'll start that verse over. I love the blast beat that gets thrown in there by that drummer here and there. Like, super cool. It's pretty short, few measures, but it's a nice little touch. And I saw somebody ask in the comments recently what a blast beat was. For anybody that doesn't know, when we use the term blast beat, it refers to the style of drumming that he's doing at the current time. A blast beat is usually a 16th note at a pretty high tempo that's spaced evenly between a kick, a snare, and a cymbal, usually a hi-hat or a ride. And it's just that really fast, like, on the snare. Very popular in death metal. You hear it in folk metal sometimes, stuff like that. Drummers' gear, I can't get a good look at, man. I haven't seen any logos on the cymbals or the drums. The only thing I saw was the Evans logo on the bottom of the kick drum head, which means most likely endorsed by Evans drum heads. That's what he's using on all the stuff. We'll come back to some other gear in a bit. Epic. All right, I feel we're leading into a bridge, so I'll stop. Finally got a good look at that bass. I am 99% sure that it is not what I thought it was. My first immediate guess was a Fender Jazz bass. I'm pretty sure it's an Atelier Z Beta, which, in all fairness, does have the body style of a Fender Jazz bass, but they're really high quality Japanese bass company. I think, who did I see with that in another video? I believe it's Bo, the bass player for Baby Metal. Unreal bass player for Baby Metal. He plays Atelier Z. He has his own signature model. I think I know what the guitar is, but I need to think about it for a second.
We are heading for a new home, for a long sleep in desire. Hear the voices of the fallen, sing their song into the darkness. Once we were warriors, holding the home, they made us hide. Once we were lords of the mountain, until fate closed our eyes. We are heading for a new home, for a long sleep in desire. Hear the voices of the fallen, sing their song into the darkest night.
I think I got it. So the guitar's been throwing me off because I'm not gonna lie, the first thing I do when we do these gear breakdowns, I look for logos on the headstocks. This guitar does not have a visible logo on the headstock. If it does, the lighting is just hiding it. But I had a friend in high school who is a killer guitar player and loved Ibanez guitars. And I'm fairly certain that the only reason I know what guitar that is because he had one. I'm pretty positive that's an old Ibanez SZ. It was an offshoot from the S series, and instead of having a tremolo bridge, it was fixed, meaning instead of the strings floating on the bridge, they came up through the back of the guitar and were strung up the neck. And if I remember right, the reason my buddy had that guitar was because Mike, the guitar player for Stained, had his own signature model, which that could be. And the only difference I believe in Mike's signature model SZ from the standard is that it's a baritone. So it's got a longer scale, which means you can string it with thicker strings, get a lower tone, and it'll stay in tune better. That's my final answer. I'm saying that's an Ibanez SC, and maybe the signature baritone that Mike from Stained had. But if I'm wrong, I'll let you know. This drummer's doing some kick work, man. Excellent video for assuming that they recorded that in the middle of a pandemic. It looked really good, and I really liked it. Let's go talk about some more stuff. So going off of what I heard in their cover of Diggy Diggy Hole, this sounded exactly like I thought it was going to, which is awesome because that means they took their core sound into a cover that they did, which is awesome. It sounded fantastic. I loved that this was the first original thing I heard because it was awesome, man. For those of you that follow this channel, you know, like, this is gym music for me. I'm gonna put this in my ears, crank it up, pick up heavy shit, put it back down, have a good time. It'll get me fired up. And I assume this is from a recently released record or a new record that's coming out. I'm not sure, I'll have to look it up, but it sounded fantastic. Whoever mixed and mastered this record, kudos to you because that sounded awesome. And going back to those costumes, man, that cannot be easy to play in because, especially for like the drummer, being weighted down with all that stuff while you're playing, it's going to take a little more physical effort, man, and it's impressive. And this is a band that I would gladly pay to go see live. So, Thank you guys for recommending this, and if there's anything else by Windrose that you would recommend, please drop it in the comments below because I will check it out. And if this is your first time here, feel free to click subscribe. I release new videos almost every day of the week, so make sure the alerts are on. You will be notified the second new stuff comes out. If you liked this video, I would greatly appreciate the like. And if you disliked it, no big deal. Dislike it, move on. I'm also on a ton of different social media. I also have a Discord server that I hang out on regularly. I will link that in the description below. And I'm also on Twitch streaming a ton too. So that link is below as well. Go give me a follow on there, hang out while I'm streaming. My handle on everything social media related is @TankTheTech. And thank you so much once again for watching. I will be back very soon with another episode of Roadie Reactions.